Good evening, folks. Good evening once again. This is Hustling Muscle joining in the Hustling Muscle show, and I am going to be joined by Gauri. Let me just see if I can find Gauri and start it off. Okay, let me just see if I can see Gauri. I don't see her yet. She would be joining. We were with Dr. Mukherjee this afternoon. We did postpartum and we did fitness, and now Gauri has come in, and we're going to do postpartum and nutrition now with Gauri. Let me just send her out an invite. I hope everybody is doing well. It's Friday evening. I'm sure everybody must be out with the restrictions and cribs coming down. Gauri, a very good evening.
Very good
Thank you,
evening to you.
thank you so much for joining us. And yes, I know this is a very busy time of the year for you. I know taking out especially a Friday evening for us. It's Valentine's week. I know how busy you are with the line of gifts, applications. Everybody's
All of
running
it.
behind. So I know how busy you are. So Gauri, we had a discussion with Dr. Mukherjee. We
Hmm.
spoke about postpartum and we spoke about fitness. So today evening with you, we're talking about postpartum and nutrition.
Right.
Okay. Now,
Yep.
Dr. Mukherjee has explained to us about postpartum in terms of fitness. Why don't you also explain what is postpartum? From the nutrition side, what connection does it have with nutrition? What role does nutrition play in postpartum?
Okay. First of all, Pratik, I have to say, this is such a huge topic. I mean, it is a really big topic for the simple reason there is so many things that go on. One of the biggest things that I would say, let's start off with the definition. So, postpartum basically means the time right after delivery. It's right after delivery up to 6 to 8 weeks. And in that time, a lot of changes occur in the woman's body. And I'm going to split this up into a couple of things, like what kind of delivery that has happened will more or less play a big role in the kind of nutrients that are added on. Overall, in terms of nutrition, there are two things that happen. So when the body's gone through a lot of trauma, just imagine it this way. A human beings come out of the body, there is a lot of trauma, there is a lot of loss of amniotic fluid, blood, and if depending on the kind of delivery that is done, if it's a normal delivery, then it's still a traumatic experience, physically traumatic experience for a woman. If there is, say, a vaginal uh, tear or an episiotomy that is given, that means stitches are required. So that needs extra time for healing. Um, and imagine if the woman goes through a C-section, a cesarean section, where the skin, the fat layer, the cutaneous layer, and then the muscular layer of the uterus is cut, the baby is removed, and then it's stitched back. I know this is really graphic, but that's the truth of it. And when that happens, that is basically a major surgery that's happened. A lot of people don't realize that. So the nutrition component for this is really important. One is for the healing. That is extremely important because now the woman's entire focus is on the newborn infant, and she's really not thinking too much about herself, and it's about how to get this new life up and going. So the basic requirements, so any website, you open up any nutrition based website or even Google it, and it will say postpartum caloric requirements are approximately 500 calories. So 500 calories is, but 500 calories per day. So when it says 500 calories extra per day, that basically means from what they were eating as a normal meal before, plus 500 calories. And those calories go towards energizing the woman in recovery, helping the woman to produce milk so she can breastfeed her baby. And these are really important, requirements for the mother. This. So nutrition has a huge impact because nutrition is basically there to ensure that the recovery of the mother is done, and plus she produces milk that allows her to feed her infant. So if and breastfeeding is now again picking up the kind of pace that we really, as dietitians, we really want mothers to breastfeed their infants. So nutrition really has an impact not just on the mom but also on the baby, because everything that the mom eats is basically translated into the milk and given to the child. So that's basically what it is.
So the nutrition plays a very, very important role. What sort of diet do you suggest during postpartum, and the comfort food during postpartum depression? What's your take on that?
So there are two different questions here. Okay, so straight off, I'm gonna say diet, postpartum diet. Basically, if you're talking about postpartum nutrition, it's being able to eat just about everything, but in there are specifications. So the foods that are high in protein, because there's been so much trauma, women need to heal from the inside out. So basically, foods that are high in protein are very necessary. So non-vegetarian foods, then plant-based proteins, those are great ways of adding the protein on. Second thing is iron, because it's again, like I said, it's a traumatic experience. There's blood loss. There's, they have to recuperate from all that blood loss and things like that. So iron is one of the most important nutrients, minerals that I would say that a postpartum woman really requires. A lot of postpartum moms are usually told to continue their multivitamin supplements by the physicians for that period of 6 to 8 weeks while they're bouncing back. So that is something that we really encourage them to do, to make sure that they continue their multivitamin as prescribed by the physician. Then there are an entire slew of nutrients that the woman can take. But when you talk about what should the new mom eat, is basically what you normally eat, healthy whole grain diet with lots of fruits and vegetables, protein, like I said. So making sure all components are there in the meal and it's a balanced meal, and with little, maybe slightly extra portions, or maybe added snacks through the day, so that that 500 extra calories that they require are met. And that's really essential, like I said, for their healing as well as the baby. Now you talked about postpartum depression. Postpartum depression is a physiological, psychological, emotional, social, major change that a woman faces when she's had a baby. And I don't want to say everybody has it, or I don't want to say, there is no pinpoint on the severity of postpartum depression a woman can have. Some people have the baby blues for, say, maybe a couple of days and they're okay, and they jump back up and they're doing their own thing. Have issues lasting weeks and months, where that the emotional drain is really there, and there are a bunch of symptoms where they're not interested in food, they're not interested in their basic relationships, even with the baby. So when it comes to nutrition, one of the basic things that we suggest is enjoy the food that you like. Those are the things that we would always suggest. Eat foods that are high in nutrients that are pick-me-ups. Usually things like fruits, veggies, they really have those nutrients and antioxidants, flavonoids and phenols that really help in the pick-me-up component. Maybe having certain things like you enjoy, like a piece of chocolate, that might help. But again, 99% of women are usually more worried about their baby and how they're going to react to the food that they're eating. So that's usually where a lot of women start taking out foods that they, maybe it's not going to suit the child. But that's when we suggest a lot of different trial and errors. But that's for the baby's nutrition. But for moms, we usually suggest a balanced, wholesome meal.
Gauri, women want to lose weight fast, especially when they come. Now, Dr. Mukherjee did explain to us that you should take pride in how you look as a mother since you delivered. But still, there's a big sect that wants to lose weight and they want to lose weight fast. So they go on to the different diets that are there. And one
Right.
such diet is intermittent fasting. Now, tell me, what is the effect if a new, young, just delivered mother goes on to something like an intermittent fasting?
So let's put it this way. I told you that the bounce back, there's a period of convalescence. That means that's a period of healing. It's usually approximately given as 40 days, but you know, 6 to 8 weeks is what the healing process takes. If you've had a C-section, that healing is going to take longer, most probably, because it's internal surgery. If you've had an episiotomy or a vaginal tear, that's going to take a longer. So having an ideology that I've had a baby and now I have to lose all this weight, baby weight, you know, remember the first thing that you lose is that when the baby is born is the weight of the baby when it comes out. So you're already lighter. So feeling happy about having a newborn child and having had lost that much weight instantaneously should be the first yay moment. Over a period of time, there are a lot of myths like if you breastfeed, you will lose weight faster and things like that. That's not necessarily true for all moms. Some women do go through it, yes, and they literally shrink and go back to their pre-pregnancy weights. Some don't, and that's okay. But things like fad diets or intermittent fasting, what it does is basically cutting calories. And I just said, like in the previous question, I said you have to add 500 extra calories in a day. So that's very counterintuitive. So that means the nutrients that the new mom requires for healing and to produce the milk are not, are cut short. And also because they're cut short, the requirement for the baby is also cut short because the mom is not feeding herself. So usually what we recommend is the mother wait for at least the 6 to 8 recommended weeks before thinking about anything like weight loss. Okay. Just a quick step back, like women who face, the baby blues or, a postpartum depression, although it seems counterintuitive, basic things like exercise. Once you have a clearance from your doctor, are one is a great way of increasing your, those
Okay,
are
I
the
think we
things.
lost you. Yeah. Okay, we
Yeah,
lost your audio.
yeah, you can hear me now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so basically nutrition is a major component of it, especially in that small time frame of 6 to 8 weeks. If women can just wait that long and then decide on what their next course of action is, that will give them the best results.
So I think that's a very valid point that you've made. Now, are there any foods that post pregnancy we should avoid? What nutrition plan would you say is what food should be avoided and what food is very much required for its nutrients?
So every woman who goes through a pregnancy and a delivery has a different symptoms or different requirement. They're going through different things physically, emotionally. Um, Although it might seem like a blanketed time of the time. However, when I rather than saying avoid foods, I usually suggest to look at the foods that are helping you in the recovery phase, and second is helping you in the phase of making sure that, the milk production is there. So so that the child is being fed the adequate amount. I'm not going to get into child nutrition right now because that is completely a different realm. But for the woman to basically ensure that the healing process is happening, the lactation is happening properly, and she's producing and giving enough nutrients through her milk to her child are very important. So that is something I would suggest. When you talk about foods to avoid, it is usually based on the symptoms that the baby has when they are breastfeeding, to see what kind of reaction the baby has, because this is a newborn child, and the newborn child, because they're getting all the nutrients from the breast milk, they usually may have certain reactions, and those are to certain foods, and those are the things that women usually, new moms usually like to avoid, because they don't want to aggravate their child's, maybe it is a tummy upset, or some kids have a reaction like diarrhea on certain foods that a mom eats and is passed on through the breast milk.
Gauri, I would like to ask you that you have any personal experiences? You have three kids.
I knew you were gonna do that. Okay, yeah, personal
It's
experience.
Valentine's week, you can't say maybe the viewers are, waiting, Guys, you can DM and check with Gauri, for a Valentine's tips, dates, everything. Yeah, Gauri.
Okay, we're not, Valentine's is different. So personal experience, yeah, I can tell you about personal. I have three kids. Yeah, all of them. It all depends on the mom's health and how you've treated yourself before the pregnancy, during the pregnancy, and post pregnancy. I know straight off, I ate everything. Post delivery, I ate everything, and in relatively larger portions. You know how I eat, so that's not saying much. But and I also had my mom and my mother-in-law at that time give me very specific traditional foods that were really helpful in the healing process for myself and the milk production. So it was amazing. I mean, there are very specific foods like edible gum that we use in laddus that are given to new moms, that help in all these things, that create that are calorically rich, that are nutrient rich, and do fantastic for the lactating process. So that is something, traditional
They
foods
say
is
no,
something
that the
I feel.
mother knows the best.
Right. So the mother knows the best is absolutely true. So depends. So I was a child and my mom knew the best, and I listened to my mom. And I usually suggest, listen to some of the things that your mom tells you, especially in that 6 to 8 weeks. It's really important because it helps in, especially traditional foods that a lot of cultures have traditional foods that are good for the mother in many respects.
No, that's true because even I think till date, I think young mothers call their mothers to find out, okay, this is where I am, this is where I'm stuck at. How can I do? What should I do? So that's common. But okay, now addressing one thing. Now, Dr. Mukherjee just spoke this afternoon. This isn't again a myth, or are you going to bust it or clear it? I leave it to you.
Mhm.
One major thing is, what is the best nutrition for breastfeeding?
So there are a lot of things. Again, best nutrition is, see, again, when you're talking about milk production in a new mom, that is different from what the nutrients get transferred to the child. So it's a combination of both. So like I just said, using traditional foods, things like garden cress seeds, and I don't know what I have to find out what they're called in Hindi, but in Marathi they're called aliv. And they make a kheer out of it, or they make laddus out of it, dry or.
Okay, I think Gauri is having connectivity issues.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Gauri, you're back. Yeah, you're back.
Yeah. So nuts and seeds and
Kheer.
all these kheer and different kinds of nuts and seeds.
Okay, I think she has frozen. But yeah, as you were saying, the mother knows the best because even at my home, my sister keeps calling my mother to check, okay, this is what's wrong with your granddaughter. This is how it is. And now my granddaughter is no more young. She's almost 14, 15 years old, but still. So as they say, the mother knows the best. So you always have to go back and check what is right, what is not right. I think Gauri should be joining us again. I think she's having connectivity issues. Okay, I'll need to send out a request to her. Give me 1 minute. I've accepted her request and she should join. Yeah, I think
Hi,
Gauri, you had
yeah, I'm
no
sorry.
problem,
This
no problem.
this is that's a regular thing with me. So you got to expect one disconnection at
So
least.
you were saying yes.
So, like you were saying, mom knows the best. Yeah, and that's when, like again, I'm going to go back to the traditional foods. Ask mom if your mom is not there, ask her what are the traditional foods that you can find locally that really help in the lactation process, that can help the production of milk so that the baby is fed as per its requirements. Um, Having foods that are high, so foods like nuts that provide protein as well as good fats, foods like seeds. It's really important for young mothers to understand that having a balance is really important, even for milk production, especially for milk production, because that's one of the ways you're going to be feeding your child. So I would say look at it in terms of both new age foods as well as traditional foods, and if you can fuse them together, that you've got the best of both worlds.
So now I'm going to ask you this. I've asked Dr. Mukherjee in the fitness terms. I ask you in the nutrition terms.
All right.
Why is bouncing back a bizarre phase? Many women face this. She explained it for a fitness way. You have to explain me the nutrition way.
So bouncing back is basically having, a new mother expecting her body to come back in the way it was the minute she has the baby, and it doesn't work that way. Yeah. uh, there is a lot of physical trauma and things that have gone on in the body that she has to heal from. So bouncing back is basically a phase or a period of time that she has to give herself to come to a point where she could possibly be near her pre-pregnancy weight. From the nutritional point of view, that 500 extra calories should only be done for a period of that 6 to 8 weeks. That's it. And then you start, reducing your calories slowly, as in, when required, depending on the demand of the baby as well. So those are the things that I would definitely, when we're talking about bouncing back, um, give yourself thought that required amount of time to heal. Give yourself that time for your body to come back, the elasticity of your body to come back. Because, I mean, I'm sure this is something that Dr. Mukherjee also talked about, is the elasticity of the skin that, women are really like, oh my God, I had a baby and now I have loose skin all over the place. What do I do? Um, Protein help. So when we talk about it from the nutrition angle, eat your proteins, make sure you have your nutrients, start as and when you can, start with your doctor's permission, start your exercise routine. That is really important. And what kind of exercise? Get a expert who is a postnatal exercise expert. Don't just go to anybody and restart your exercise program the way it used to be. It doesn't necessarily work that way. Okay. And please don't do anything physically aggravating without your doctor's permission. That is the first thing I would definitely say. And in terms of nutrition, continue the things that your doctor suggests, like the vitamins, the minerals. Those are really important.
I think the cat agrees with you.
Oh yeah, yeah. Don't ask. Yeah.
So Gauri, what's going to be your punchline?
Women who go through and opt to go through the childbirth process, remember, you're giving life. It's a beautiful process, and no matter what, at any stage you can always bounce back. Okay. Um, Enjoy the moment, enjoy the birth of your child, and it doesn't really matter whether it's your first child or your third child. That is a process. Yes, there's a lot more to do when you have multiple children, but enjoy the time you can get with these kids, because my kids are off to college now, and I don't know where the years went, man. I do not know where the years went. Enjoy that time.
So, as she's saying, before I give my punchline, guys, here is somebody who comes with experience. She has taken her children right from birth to now as they're going to college. She has a nutrition experience. She has helped many people. You guys have questions or you have doubts, DM her, DM me. Gauri has two handles, Juvenate and Gauri, both the handles she's very active on. I have my handle. You guys can put out your questions, and once you put out your questions, we will answer them back accordingly. It may take us a little time, but yes, we do answer all your questions. And lastly, I'm only going to say, my punchline, very simple. I'm stealing something what Dr. Mukherjee said, but I'm really in love with that statement, is strong mothers make strong children. So
Absolutely.
the
Absolutely.
hustling muscles is going to just keep say that, strong mother makes strong children. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Absolutely.
it's absolutely that. So I will end the conversation here. Gauri, thank you so much. This was an amazing conversation. This was an amazing topic. You've given some amazing information. I'm
Thank
sure
you.
people will enjoy this because I'm going to be reposting this, not today, I'm going to be reposting this tomorrow. So you guys
Hmm.
will going to find this on my wall and Juvenate's wall both. So you guys can see it, like it. If you like it, please do like it. Share it with young mothers, okay, who you think
Absolutely.
really need this information. Do comment if you like it, don't like it, if you want us to change anything, and just let
Yeah.
us know how we can be better every day. All right. So Gauri, thank you
Absolutely.
so much. Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
I hope I've not disturbed your Valentine's dates and things like that. Okay. But still, we'll have to check what Gauri is doing on 14th Feb. Okay. So guys, this is Gauri Shingote and Hustling Muscles signing out. Have a great evening ahead. Have an amazing weekend ahead. Thank you so much, Gauri. Thank you so